Hello guys, I am Shujat Ali from Medicos Lectures by Shujat, and today we are going to discuss with you anatomy and osteology of vertebral column. We are going in complete detail of vertebral column. But at first I want to thank the management of my university. The way they are providing me their support in making videos. Without their support, these videos were not possible at all. So thank you so much. Then returning to my original video about anatomy of vertebral column. So, vertebral column, we also know it as spine. It is the central and longitudinal pillar of our body. We know it as pillar. Why? Because it is helping us measure weight bearing and then bearing that weight and transforming that to the lower limb. We have 33 total bones in vertebral column, which we know it as vertebrae. There are 5 parts of these 33 bones or 5 divisions. First is cervical or cervical from C1 to C7. These are 7 vertebrae. Second is thoracic. They include 12 vertebrae or 12 bones from T1 to T12. Third is lumbar. They include 5 bones from L1 to L5. And fifth is sacral. They include 5 bones from S1 to S5. And coccyx includes single vertebra, single bone. Talking about first about the cervical vertebrae. So first cervical vertebra I have right there. It is ring shaped in appearance. We also know it as atlas vertebra, and it is directly attached to the skull. After first we have second cervical vertebra. We have odontoid process in it, which is going to be attached with pivot, which is going to pivot on that atlas vertebra. We know second vertebra as axis vertebra. We have thoracic vertebrae in thoracic region. Lumbar vertebrae, these are lumbar vertebrae. They are the major helper for us in weight bearing. When we lift some heavy object, these lumbar vertebrae will help us in bearing that weight. Talking about sacral. Sacral together with coccyx, they form pelvic girdle. And sacral is the area, is the vertebra which attach spine to the hip bones. And these coccyx, they are 4 fused bones combining and form one. We know it as coccyx. They are attachment point for ligaments and the muscles of pelvic floor. Now forgetting that these are cervical, lumbar or thoracic vertebrae, just picking one vertebra and discussing the features that are common in all vertebrae, and after discussing these features, discussing with you the differentiation point, that how to differentiate this vertebra, cervical, lumbar or thoracic. Right now I have vertebra. This widened area is body, and it helps us in weight bearing. Body possessing 4 surfaces. Anterior surface is right there, posterior is there, and this is the superior surface, this is the inferior surface. Just backward and lateral, we have a pedicle right there. Here we have pedicles. And on the backward and medial in some vertebrae, at this point, we have a lamina. And these body, pedicles and lamina, when they are together, when we together these 3 points, so they form a neural arch or vertebral arch. Now, talking about the processes that we have in vertebra. So we have transverse process, which is just backward and lateral, or lateral between the pedicles and lamina. We have transverse process present laterally between pedicle and lamina. And the spinous process is present at the backward between the lamina. This is spinous process. This is transverse process. This is spinous process. These are superior and inferior articular processes. They are going to be articulated with ribs or just at the end. They are going to be articulated. We have costal facets on them, which are articulated with costal cartilages and ribs. Now discussing with you that how to differentiate from cervical, thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. Picking up cervical vertebra first, we have only one key point, only one foramen in a thoracic vertebra, which is foramina transversalium, which is right there. If you see this, you will definitely pick that this is our cervical vertebra. Now returning to thoracic. So on thoracic vertebra we have a costal facet articulation. We have articulation on processes, we have articulation on our body for articulation with ribs. We have demifacets for them. So if we see these facets, we will identify this vertebra as thoracic vertebra. Now, the lumbar vertebra. Lumbar vertebra is basically identified from the difference of its articular processes. If the difference is same between superior and inferior, it is atypical. It is L5 vertebra. We can identify it from the difference of its articular processes and foramina transversalium. This vertebra is lumbar, or this is thoracic or cervical. Now, talking about typical cervical and atypical cervical vertebrae. So, typical cervical vertebrae, if my friend zoom from C3 to C6, these vertebrae are typical cervical vertebrae. And if you see the spines of these vertebrae, the spinous process of these vertebrae, right now I have typical vertebrae. So its spinous process is bifid, and it is its major identification of typical cervical vertebra. Atypical is include C1, which is atlas, which is going to be directly attached with skull. C2, which is axis, which is attached to the skull with the help of odontoid process, which it is pivot on C1 with the help of odontoid process. And C7 vertebra, it is also known as vertebral prominence, and foramina, it also possesses foramina transversalium. Right now I have typical thoracic vertebra, and their location is T2 to T8. We have typical thoracic vertebra. Their identification is their heart-shaped body and their demifacets. So we have two demifacets on typical thoracic vertebra. And we have heart-shaped body. And in the same way, if we discussed about atypical, so we have half demifacet, not full demifacet. Atypical is from T1, T9, 10, 11 and 12. T1 is just similar to that of 7 cervical vertebra. We have half demifacets on them for articulation. Discussing about lumbar vertebra. Basic identification is their largest body, just like this. But after largest body, the key identification is the difference between their processes. If the difference between superior and inferior is same, this is atypical, which is L5. But if the difference between superior and inferior is not same, then this is typical, from L1 to L4 lumbar vertebra. Now discussing the clinical correlates of vertebral column. So for that, first is scoliosis. Scoliosis is basically the deviation of typical thoracic vertebra. It indicates the malrotation. So our vertebral column will deviate from that of thoracic region, just at the point it deviate, and person is a vertebral column is tilted, deviated. Then we have disc prolapse. Right now, here we have a disc between two vertebral columns to avoid friction and for support. In disc prolapse, annulus fibrosis ruptures, or annulus fibrosis injured in the disc prolapse. Then we have kyphosis, which is the deviation in thoracic region of our vertebrae. Their deviation, we know it as kyphosis, their injury. And lordosis is the deviation in lumbar region where abdominal enlargement occur. It is due to the, and also the uterus enlargement occur, and due to fluid that present, and we know it as lordosis. And these are basic clinical correlates and basic lecture on anatomy of vertebral column. Hope you all will understand it well. Don't forget to subscribe to Medico's lectures by Shujat. Thank you so much.